All right. I'll answer that right now. The final is going to be not the same as the midterm because then it'll be the same test. Same format? Yes.
Yeah, the same test.
Same type of test, if that answers your question. No, it will not be the same test because you've already taken that test. And speaking of that, I did go in and add the extra credit.
Thank you.
I did that just a few minutes ago. Well, maybe 30 minutes ago. So if you looked at your grades an hour ago, those didn't include the 5 points extra credit. They have been adjusted. And under exams, you'll see midterm original, which no longer counts for anything, then midterm WEC, with extra credit. So that's the one with the 5 points extra credit. And what I did was I took the highest grade in the class and just added 5. Okay, which made it 100 because he had 95. I didn't round or anything, so live with it. So if you had an 82.8, you got an 87. I didn't round, just so y'all can live with it. I was too lazy. I did update that. You all should have got an email from me a little bit ago. They said your grades are all updated, and the last day to drop is Friday. Now, I don't tell you that to make you drop. I just want you all to be aware, hey, here's your current grade. You know how you're doing now. Here's Friday's the last day to drop, so you need to make the intelligent decision. Sometimes students get upset when you say, hey, here's your grade and here's the last day to drop. I'm not telling you to drop. There are some people I'm telling to drop because we have a couple of people with like a 0 in this class. But for the majority of you, you're doing fine. So, see what you got. I mean, everything's been graded up to noon today. So, you should be able to calculate at that point. And you know how much work you can put into the final. And you probably have like 2 more programs to write. Okay?
Question.
Yes, ma'am.
Will you make a sheet for doing the program and not having to do the final? Because I don't remember exactly what you said we had to do.
It is in the last recording, but yes, I'll try to do that for you. Okay? If I don't do it today, I'll try to do it by tomorrow. Because I got to get all the classes graded, everything graded so they all can tell.
Okay, so that's the one that says script programming, earthquake program modification recording?
No, that would have been in Monday's recording. The one I actually put up this morning.
Oh.
It would have been in the middle of Chapter 9, Part 1, I think. Maybe it was in the other one. But what it is, I'll say it on the recording now. Your program has to... Now this is in place of the final, you can write this program. It's the earthquake program that reads from the internet, reads in the first line of the data file, which is the header row, which has long, lat, mag, all that stuff, automatically adds all those as search conditions. So, I can click on longitude. You have a little menu that pops up. This is what you'd like to search by, and I'm going to click longitude and put in a number, and it's going to do the same stuff. But instead of us hard coding everything like we're doing, it's all going to be automatic. Okay. So, what was longitude? Was that like 8 or 9 or something? So that could be column 9 instead of long. When you're actually reading in the header, so we're going to get long from the header, then we're going to know that's column 9. So it's not really a good idea to hard code stuff in the program. Because what happens if they took that data? Chelsea's program read off the internet perfectly. But what if the U.S. Geological Society modified the file to add a column 2 that was something else? Then all of a sudden her program's off. Because she hard-coded, which we all did. She hard-coded different columns for different things. So you see what I'm saying? So that's what you can do in place of the final. No extra help on it or anything, you just have to do it. And again, it needs to do it automatically. Alright, now, so all your grades have been updated. Stuff that was missing is now zeros. The chapter 9, was that the recursion one? Okay. Just so you know, there's just a couple of you got it correct. Okay? The rest of you, as long as I saw an attempt, got a 75, unless there was really nothing there. Because there's a couple people that gave me nothing. I mean, it didn't even do the basic stuff from chapter 2. So, and I put some comments in there like, hey, there's no recursion whatsoever, but you should have still got a 75. Again, unless you gave me something that was like, I don't know. One of yours, It might have been Brittany. I don't know. Some days I might have said something about it ran forever.
That's mine.
Okay. Did you ask me for size first and number of blocks second?
No.
Okay. Because the one I graded after yours did that. It was originally I asked for number of blocks first, size second. And when I was grading the one after yours, I put in, they asked the opposite order. So when I put in number of blocks, it ended up being 50 blocks. That's why I wouldn't stop. So I don't know if I did that on yours. But a few of you, Chelsea, Cameron, did great. To make that program work, the easiest way, not everybody did it this way, the easiest way would have been to modify the draw square and draw blocks, add another argument to it, because you have to keep track of a count. So you can pass in what number of the iteration this is. So like in draw square, you had to do the 4 sides. So you would have passed in a count of 4 initially. Then as long as it's greater than 0, keep calling yourself. That's what I think Chelsea did and a couple people did. Cameron, on the other hand, did it differently. He did it with global variables, which works as well, okay, which is acceptable. But Chelsea asked me a question at the end of class. She's like, why are we doing this? Okay, is it your dad who's a programmer? Okay, her dad's a programmer. I've been a programmer. Okay, I have never commercially written recursion into any program ever. It's one of those things that it's available, but you can always live without it. But if you put in a lot of thought into it, you can actually save a lot of work. It's just that it's one of those things that, you're most likely never going to do. That's why I gave majority of you just 75% and said, hey, you tried. Okay? It takes a lot of thought, more thought than some of you expected, I'm guessing. Some of you are probably like, holy crap, this is a lot tougher than I thought it was going to be. Because recursion, it's kind of a special animal. It's used a lot in math, but it's not used much beyond that. And anything that can be done with recursion can be done without recursion. So look at my comments I put in there. I was very lenient on that. With a very few exceptions, most of you got at least 75 or so. I think someone got a 50, someone got a 20. But there was one, it's like, seriously? I mean, chapter 2 should have been more than this. I don't remember who it was, to tell you the truth. So that's up there. That's all been graded. But we're not going to go over doing that. But actually, if Chelsea wouldn't mind, I would like to show you her program so you all can see what it did. Would that be okay? Okay. Actually, let me do that right now. Let me pause this for a second while I forget. All right, now we're going to look at Chelsea. This is her Chapter 9 program that might run. Okay. So when I run it, and I select how many blocks, if I say 10, side of 50, it draws blocks. Okay. So it does work perfectly. Okay. It meets the centering. A lot of you missed the centering. I don't know how you had centering working with Chapter 2, but didn't with Chapter 9. Now, if you look at her code, see what she did is she added a counter. This I basically is a counter. Okay? So if it's greater than 4, so if I becomes greater than 4, because draw a square, we're going to draw 4 sides. Yes, Cameron?
I see a surprise in my comments in this code. I don't know what's going on.
They were there. I removed them.
You did?
Yeah, I removed them to make it shorter, show it on the screen. Okay, so Cameron's correct. He does have the best comments. But let me continue on.
The best.
So she modified the method header to include I to keep track of it. So if it's greater than 4, in other words, you've already drawn 4 sides, return 0. In other words, stop calling yourself. Or else, move forward, turn right, move, and then call yourself again. So this is where it pretty much happens here. And then she's incrementing I right here. So same with draw blocks. She used B on this one. Number of blocks. Okay. So B is equal to the number of blocks. Then return 0, or else call yourself again. So it takes more work, but that's what it looks like. Okay. So excellent job there. I will to make Cameron happy, so I don't want him to cry, we're going to look at Cameron's program now. Cameron did have the best comments. See? Even though I can't see him on the screen, let's see what Cameron's does, see if it actually works correctly. Well, isn't that special? Okay, so his works fine as well. What Cameron did different on his was he actually used a global variable. So he did not modify the header. He just used a global variable that initializes one time and then it counts from that point. Okay? So we haven't covered that. It's just there. Okay? So, alright? So you'll see he's calling the same basic thing Chelsea did. As long as it's less than or equal to 3, keep calling yourself to draw them or else stop pretty much. Same with draw blocks. As long as your count is less than the number of blocks required, keep calling draw blocks. So, alright? And I like Cameron's sup, Ken. Alright, so that's a couple different ways of doing it. Okay? But it did make it more complicated. So, okay, we're going to show Casey's now. He's not here, but we're going to show you Casey's.
I think Cameron used excessive amounts of code.
This is Casey's. Okay, let's look at Casey's. Total number of blocks you want to print, 10, 50. You gotta see this, it's hilarious. You're a great programmer, Professor.
Extra credit.
So he added colors, bells and whistles, he added everything.
Who is Casey?
Casey's actually an advisor. He's gone through all the cybersecurity program. He teaches math as well. So yeah, if you ever need a math teacher, he's a really good math teacher. So he teaches algebra and all that stuff. He's real sharp in that. So there's Casey's program. He added a bunch of junk at the bottom to make it do other stuff. And you didn't have to, but you know, it's kind of cool. So, all right. So that kind of helped explain that one a little bit. Okay. All right. So I'm going to stop this recording, then we'll continue on with chapter 10.